Ahoy, ahoy! Welcome to a brand new edition of the Ramble on Reactions. With me, as always, is handsome Dan Nye.
And sitting right over there, the soon-to-be birthday boy, clever Eric Muller, probably birthday boy by the time he says.
Or I'm dead. You never know. Anything can happen.
No, don't you put that evil out there, Ricky Bobby. So, we also promise there will not be any gauntlet throwing around outside of this little segment.
Right, even though we're not wearing gauntlets. Because we're talking about Wonder Woman, the brand new movie from the DCEU, starring Gal Gadot and directed by Patty Jenkins.
How does that feel to say? Like, just that sentence. Because the amount, you can even tell in the beginning of this review, the amount of optimism, the amount of goodwill, this is a different type of review than any other film in this universe.
I owe an apology to Gal Gadot because I was doubting her ability to be Wonder Woman beforehand, only based on her stuff in the Fast and the Furious movies. Wasn't impressed by that. But she delivered. She did a great job with this role. And you got a little hint of it in Batman v Superman, but it was like 30 minutes maybe.
Yeah, you don't get a lot of characterization. You get a lot of action, which she's a model, so she has great physicality.
Oh, and 2 years in the Israeli army helped out.
Yeah, that helps. But we will say, before we go too far into this is going to be a spoiler-free review.
Yes.
We are going to record an audio portion, which is going to be much more us going into depth what this means for the DCEU going forward, and our thoughts on Wonder Woman. But brief thoughts, yes, Gal Gadot, she was spectacular. I was not expecting that much, given what we'd seen before. Not so much that, but like even in the trailers, they kind of downplay her. Right,
they play, Chris Pine, special effects. You only get like snippets of the action, but you don't actually see like the presence, the gravitas that you need to be Wonder Woman.
Which is kind of interesting because, it's a Wonder Woman movie, so you're expecting a lot of it, and you, like, from the beginning, you do get a whole lot of her as it goes, and there wasn't a point in time where I'm like, that seems a little fishy, or that doesn't seem well acted. Everything was played greatly, and everything involving her was fantastic. This film is visually breathtaking. Like all the acting, I never had one issue with the entire thing.
I was going to say the best acting was when it was Gal teaming up with Chris Pine. Those two have amazing on-screen chemistry.
They really did, and I don't want to say I was shocked because Chris Pine is rapidly my number one Chris in Hollywood. Like, I love almost everything.
Take that, Pratt.
Well, Pratt had, like, the time where it was, like, Jurassic World and Guardians same year. Chris Pratt can do everything, which he can, but I think Chris Pine is highly underrated. You look at this, you look at all the Star Treks, you look at Hell or High Water, and then he does little shorts where he can make fun of himself, and it's like, I really respect you, and he's great in this. Like, I like his Steve Trevor a lot. And then Robin Wright. And then you have, her mom, who I can see her face, but I can't, Connie Nielsen.
Yep, from Gladiator.
Oh, yeah. Just every cast member. I feel bad for not knowing, like, the gang as well. Cause
the gang was good.
They're all good, too. And I know one of them was Ewan Bremer, who's been in a whole bunch of stuff. But it's like, I don't know. What other goods? Like we said, it's breathtaking. The action is great. It feels very organic. None of it feels forced. I like the villain. Was really well done. You didn't like the villain?
Well, I don't want to go into full spoilers.
We're not doing spoilers.
But if I was going to say there's negative to this film, it would be the third act where it doesn't stick the landing, especially when it comes to the villain.
Okay.
Well, also with the villains in particular, like, for example, Dr. Poison, they didn't really do enough to fill in that character. I feel like there's a deleted scene somewhere that fills you in on her.
If you want to hear more about this, we will get into it.
And then also they make I'm going to say creative choice or something for the big bad at the end, and I thought was odd, and my wife was laughing at.
Well, we will get to that. I bought it. But we're not gonna talk about that anymore because that's way too far into spoiler territory. But I do like how they set it up, especially because the way they did this storyline, they didn't tell you a lot, like with specifics into where we were going and with what we're talking about right now, and they kind of left it a question until you get to that third act, which we won't tell you what it is, but there was a thing. There's a twist. I'm not gonna ruin it, but there is a twist.
It's a bait and switch. What?
Kind of. What else? How did, like, there's no way this isn't the best DCEU movie.
Right. From living last year in the basement, we finally have the ceiling for them.
Yeah. As of right now, this is very much the cream of the crop for what they're. I don't think I had no negatives about this movie. There was never, once they got up and going, there was never a point in time where I'm like, oh, I'm watching a movie, or oh, I have to do this later. And that's a good metric for me, how much I'm into the world of the movie. Like,
did I turn the stove off?
Kind of. If I find myself thinking about other stuff like that while I'm watching a movie, then the movie's not doing as good of a job.
Right, you could go home to a crater and be like, hey, Wonder Woman was still good.
I can only be so mad. This is on me. I'm dumb. So, that being said, anything else?
There's just one part, the No Man Land sequence. You see that? My only wish is they could have made it more glorious and epic when they play her theme coming up the ladder and not wait 5 minutes later to start playing.
That's the tiniest nitpick
you're right. That is the tiniest nitpick, but it would have made it better, I believe, because if you think about it in the great scheme of the superhero genre right now, no hero really has a memorable score right now outside of her, and this would have been one great way to separate, and like, this is her introduction. It would have been more epic, I believe.
Her introduction is fantastic, and that No Man's Land sequence, everyone's talking about it for a reason, and yeah, I can't disagree with that, but again, I loved it as it was, and I can see what you were saying, but I'm still not disappointed.
No, I'm not disappointed. Like I said, it's the tiniest nitpick, but it's worth talking about.
So, grade it.
B+.
It's an A. I had no issues with this at all. I'm going to watch it again, and it jumped way high up on my favorite comic book movies, especially origin stories. Arguably one of the best origin stories we've ever seen.
Like I said, I love the first and second act. Just the third act, it kind of doesn't stick the landing, and also that the last battle made me say this is odd, and it also turned into another CGI slugfest like in Batman v Superman.
Which, if you want to hear our full thoughts, be sure to check out our audio version, because we will go a lot more into that, but it's not, you don't want to see us, literally staring at a camera for the next 20 minutes just talking about that, bringing up different points, how it fits everywhere. So, thank you very much for making it this far. Check out the audio version where we're going to do a full-blown rotten, like, comment, subscribe, share, let us know what you thought about it. Everyone seems to love Wonder Woman, so tell us why, tell us what you thought. If you didn't like it, tell us why, and have a civil conversation, because that's what we're all about, because we love talking movies, and we know you do too. That's clever Eric Muller right over there.
And that's handsome Dan Nye right over there.
As always, ramble on.
Anchors away.